In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you should be starting the takeaway in your golf swing every single time. And if you browse the channel, you'll notice I've done a lot of videos on this topic. However, I've had students come and see me recently still forgetting this simple principle to get this takeaway spot on. And also another reason I'm going to be telling you this today is simply because once you get this movement, it sets you up into a lovely backswing position, which is going to allow you to come straight down and make that downswing so simple, improving the strike, improving the accuracy and distance on your golf shots. But just before I do, if this is one of your first videos of mine, welcome. My name is Harry. I'm a golf teach professional here to help you transform your golf game no matter where you are in the world. And if you do take these tips and drills in this video on board in your own game, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon so also don't miss out on all the content coming to you every Tuesday and Friday. And looking into uploading one more video a week as well and making it a third. So exciting times ahead on the channel. So before we rush into actually making the necessary changes into that first move of the golf swing being the takeaway, what is it that I'm seeing most often? What is it that we see most often in that first move, the takeaway, that's causing golfers, a lot of golfers, to struggle to simplify their golf swings? It's all down to that first initial move of the golf club. I've seen too many golfers recently come and see me for lessons and they begin that golf swing where they get those hands very much so involved to begin that golf swing. You can see that when I get this GX logo pointing away from me straight away, just like this here, very wristy, handsy action, it opens the club face massively. So if I was just to bring that back to the golf ball now, well, that's going to leave the hosel winning the race to the golf ball. So we've got to do a lot of reactions in our golf swing, poor reactions, to get this club face back to square. The most common one is when we get this open club face position on the way back, whether it's on the outside or inside of the golf swing. We get this open face position, make our way up to the top, back down, and then we've got to jump out the way, flick the wrist back through. Tendency is hitting the ground, hitting those top shots, inconsistent ball striking, and also the direction, because technically on the way through impact, we're trying to do this action here. A lot of wrist movement. What if we could control this action and just have a simple back and forth movement? Very static, very stable, but simple to do. So to do this, we just want to simply do the opposite. We want to work the opposite in that takeaway. Rather than starting the golf swing using the hands, getting very handsy to begin that golf swing, let's start to work the shoulders more. Let's start to get the arms more involved as opposed to hands and wrist. Let's begin to get that rotation into the body. But the question is, how can we combine those three elements of the arm movement, the shoulder movement, but also the body movement, just like this here? Just looks so much better, way more in control, doesn't it? As opposed to seeing that wrist action here and then getting the body and everything else to catch up. So to begin with, all I'm going to get you to do is take the club away and place your lead hand, so for me being a right-handed golfer, my left hand onto my chest like this, the middle of my chest. I'm going to get you to take your trail hand and get the palm facing towards your target. For me here being the indoor facility at the net on the screen. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make that first movement just by moving my shoulders, with my left shoulder moving a little bit closer to the golf ball, tilting towards the golf ball as my right shoulder begins to lift upwards. And if I just make this movement here, I'm not doing anything here with my arm, I'm not changing my wrist movement, my hand, I'm not moving anything in particular from this shoulder down. This right shoulder moves up and the arm just follows. I'm not relaxing it too much so that it goes all over the place, but I'm not tensing up so that I can't actually swing the golf club. Somewhere in the middle of the spectrum from 1 to 10, being 5. Nice and relaxed with this trail arm of ours, and I'm just getting my lead shoulder to tilt down, right shoulder to tilt up, working away into this set position here. Now, where is my right palm facing here? Towards the golf ball. If I was just to take the club and we did that first action at the hands here, where's that right palm pointing? Towards the sky. So a simple checkpoint for you, when you try this first drill, if your right palm is pointing towards the sky, as you begin to try and add this rotation, this shoulder movement, and it begins to point towards the sky, that is a lot of rolling of the wrists. That's a lot of hands taking the club head and encouraging it to open up on the way back. So we've got to find this control, get this control back just by getting that first movement here. Now from this first point, how do we make our way up into the top of the backswing? Now obviously if we get this palm open, it's no good if it's pointed towards the sky. So the key is though, from this point here, the palm's going to be facing more towards the ground, almost on the same angle in relation to where my spine angle is. This is where we want to see that club face position as well, by the way, the leading edge of the club face, which we'll show you later on. But from this point here, how can we set this into the top of the backswing? How do we fold this trail arm, this trail elbow into the backswing? How can we set it in the right position? Well, a lot of golfers, once they get this action here, with the right palm facing towards the sky, they begin to rotate and try and recover from this by flaring that right elbow out. But what I want you to do is just imagine that once you've got this setting motion here of those shoulders and the arms staying fairly straight, once you make your way into this point here where the palm's facing the ground, I just want you to do two things. I want you to get the back to face towards the target, and I also want you to get that palm to face towards the sky as you make your way into the top of the backswing, by the way. Not at this point here, at this point here. So what I've done there is I've actually gone from this set position here, okay, keeping it nice and relaxed, a little bit firm, just to ensure I'm getting this tilt of the shoulders. And then from there, I'm allowing my back to twist and face towards the target as I'm getting my right palm now to face towards the sky. I'm imagining here I'm holding onto a set of plates like a waiter would at a restaurant, a very posh restaurant actually. But that set position there helps you fold the elbow in a much better, more controlled, reliable position. And then from there, it's so much easier to get that downswing to work in your favor. So there's the drill all in one motion. It's just simply from the top, palm facing towards the target, left hand onto the chest, getting that tilt of the shoulders back and forth, setting to that point with the palm facing towards the golf ball, then adding that rotation by getting the back to target and setting that lovely wrist angle and flexion of the trail arm into this position here, like a waiter at a restaurant. Just before I dive into how this is going to work with a golf club, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of the channel, GX Golf, as they provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to their competitors out on the market. So whenever you're in the market for new golf clubs and you're looking for a different golf club manufacturer to try, I'd highly recommend GX Golf, as you can get yourself a 10% discount by using the code HARRY10. I'll leave the links in the description below. So bringing a golf club into this now then, I've got an 8-iron in my hand here, and I'd highly recommend using a higher lofted club, something easier to hit with just as you get used to making these movements. I'm going to start off with how this would work with a chip shot, pitch shot, then moving into the full swing to finish. So for the chip shot then, the first part of that initial move was getting those shoulders to tilt and getting that right palm to face towards the ground. So if I get both hands onto the golf club, obviously taking that narrow stance, my setup for that chip shot, imagine that it's 20 to 30 yards away. And that first movement is just getting that left shoulder down as the right shoulder lifts up, bringing the club into this set position here. What we can see straight away is that leading edge of the club face is bang on parallel with my spine angle. This is what I mentioned before about the club face angle and the right palm setting. They're all parallel to the spine angle. That's a great indicator that the club face is beautifully square. So making our way into that point there, just making sure that the club reach is parallel to the ground, and then just simply swinging through and trying to hold that set angle with the right palm to work towards the target. We don't want to see that club head overtaking the hands and disappearing behind the body from this camera angle here, where we can still see our hands but we can't see the club face, because that's when we get that early release, almost casting of the club, hitting the ground first, inconsistent ball striking. What we want to see instead is this set angle here, and then just getting that chest to work towards the target. Right palm is still set on that motion there. So showing that video there again, you could see how much more controlled that was. Just not really me having to put a lot of thought or effort in. It was literally me just tilting my shoulders, right palm to ground, and then holding the angle all the way through to finish. So for pitching swings, building this up into bigger swings, the pitching swings, taking my pitching setup ever so slightly wider than a chipping swing. If you'd like to see a full in-depth video on chipping versus pitching, then comment down below. I'll be more than happy to do that video for you. I want to see at least 10 comments and I will get that video sorted for you all. So just to begin with, we're feeling that motion first, tilting of the shoulders, getting the right palm to set towards the ground. So we've got that point there. And then want to make our way up to the top of the swing, or halfway in fact. What I want you to almost imagine is just that lead arm there in the hand and just working up to reach parallel to the ground. So this lead arm's going to reach parallel to the ground, which is that sort of halfway point or in the middle of that full swing, and the chipping swing somewhere bang on in the middle. And in order for me to do this, all I've just done is I've just encouraged myself just to go, okay, well, if I'm trying to set myself into the top of the backswing without using the club, how would it look like? Well, from here, as we mentioned earlier, we're getting that tilt to begin with, and then we're rotating to get that back to face towards the target. And just before we reach our way up to the top, we're just going to stop halfway, where the palm now faces towards the camera here. So palm faces towards the camera there, and that's going to get you set for that pitching backswing position. And on the way through, again, we don't want to see any of the hands beginning that down, so we don't want to see this extension working our way up in that motion. We're just going to get that club there working all the way through to finish. And this finish position here, I just want you to think, okay, well, how far back you take the club, the feeling of that lead arm parallel, will get that trail arm parallel on the way through. Just a bigger version of that chipping swing to keep things simple for this technique. So right palm towards the camera there, right palm through towards the net on the other side. So just taking a slightly wider stance. That was nice little draw, controlled draw, just because I was forcing that palm to stay more in relation to the ground, so ever so slightly more closed, as opposed to opening up that club face. Now, just before I bring in the bonus tip for full swings, just wanted to let you know I'm actually using the brand new TrackMan launch monitor, the TrackMan IO. This is an incredible launch monitor that allows us to track all sorts of data, video analysis, comparisons between other golf professionals on tour, but also has a really cool feature of where you can watch where that club face travels through impact. If you're ever looking at getting yourself some sort of launch monitor like this, Golf Swing Systems have them all on the market for you. Discount code SURE5, you can check them out, links will be in the description below. So for those full swings then, just to begin with, the bonus tip for this is just ensuring that we're making our way up to the top of the swing, so we're allowing this tilt, okay, a couple of times back and forth, just swinging like that chipping swing. Obviously stands a bit wider for that full swing, ever so slightly wider than shoulder width apart. And then from here, we're just working our way up a little bit more, adding a bit more of that back to target motion to the rotation side of things, and then finishing off with the right palm facing towards the sky. And I'd recommend just making a few swings back and forth, doing this in this motion, all in one motion, just to give yourself that sensation of what it's going to feel like when you make contact with the golf ball. As soon as we start pausing a little bit too much, especially for those full swings, the body gets too tense. Remember, we've got to feel nice and relaxed, but in control of that swing. So all we're thinking here is, okay, right, making a few swings back and forth, that chipping motion, tilt either side with the shoulders, controlling where that right palm, the trail palm is, then getting that twist to get the back to face towards the target. Right palm finishes up towards the sky. Lead arm is covering my right shoulder, beautiful backswing position here, with this elbow set in a more controlled, connected position, as opposed to flaring it out, which is what we see all the time. So, full swing, working away back and forth, those practice swings, and then hit the final shot. Now, lovely little bit of a draw, very consistent from pitching swing to the full swing there, which is really interesting, but very good strike, very compressed, very easy indeed. And that's how you should be starting the takeaway every single time to simplify the rest of that golf swing. So make sure you drop a comment down below the tips or drills video topic you'd like me to cover next. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you do take these tips and drills on board, because it helps me post more content like this, and be sure to check out this video over here if you'd like to see a video now on how this downswing should work and a couple of bonus tips on that topic as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.